Hello, people of the internet. It's me, Skyler Bowler, back with my Gilman Scholarship vlog. Today I'm going to be talking about what I've been up to and how things have been going. I think first I'm going to bring up the topic of tests. So, here in the UK, at least at Lancaster University, they have exam period during the summer. So instead of 1 week of exams, you have like a weird drawn-out summer exam period in which any of like 3 months could have your exam in it, which I think is terrible. But outside of that, because of the structure of accreditation for a lot of these university courses, there's like a requirement that a certain portion of courses have a certain portion of tests, and sometimes that turns out kind of funky, because for my first exam, which I had taken this last week, I had to do a handwritten essay with sources in exam setting. And so to do that, I could take in like a piece of paper in which I talk about like a little blurb on my source, and then like the name and year on that source, and then have that for like a few sources and just sort of hope for the best. And it seemed really, really silly to me, because this is like in no setting ever, anywhere, at any point is someone going to ask you to handwrite an essay with sources from like anywhere on the internet, but you have to write it on hand without using a computer, and it seems really, really stupid. Like, if the idea is this is supposed to demonstrate competency or prepare you for the workplace, it does neither, because it doesn't really demonstrate your competency in this subject. Because what if you happen to get a question in which the sources that you have don't really explain it very well? I mean, sure, you probably should have gotten good sources for that material, but it's like a whole course. And then second, there's no workplaces that gonna ever ask you to write something by hand like that. It seems very silly. But I guess because of accreditation structures, they're required to do it, and I just think it's stupid. It does not help that I am dyslexic and have literally never had to do that in my student career. And the last time I had to handwrite an essay was in like the 6th grade. I mean, sure, for some exams I've had to handwrite like short answer questions, but there was never any sources. So it just seems really, really dumb. Like, get to the 21st century. Also, I kind of noticed this thing where after studying abroad for a while, like at first everything's new and you think, wow, this place is great, all this food is great, everything here is like kind of better than the US, sort of like a honeymoon phase. And now I'm like deeply in the point of, oh my goodness, I'm so done with this place. No offense to England, you're fine, but like there's just things that I miss from back home. I miss having a car for when I go to the grocery store, which I feel like is like especially potent given my back problems and just how long it takes to get anywhere and how much walking I have to do with all of my groceries, and just kind of burns you out a little bit. And then outside of that, they have this weird thing about their ice cream where you can't buy it from a convenience store or else it's crap for some reason. I don't get that. I want decent ice cream. I'm used to just going to Winco and getting a gallon of ice cream for like $5. I'm sure it's more than $5 at the moment, but I get it for like $5, and it's delicious, and I love it. And, I don't know. I'm kind of mad because I really like ice cream. And then there's just lots of stuff that I miss. I miss, like, outside of my car, I miss, like, my pets, which are currently at my in-laws / my wife's, like, ex-roommates or something. That's a whole thing. We're going to have to figure out how to get the cats back, because those are the ones that are with her, like, ex-roommates or whatever. And the dog will be fine because it's at my in-laws' house. Outside of that, I've been looking up to build a PC. PC market's terrible. So, like, that sucks. Right now, the only graphics card that's really worth buying is like a 5070, or maybe like some sort of RTX 5070 or something, or not RTX, AMD Ryzen 5070. But like 9070. Jeez. Anyways, the market's not good because everybody wants them for AI, I guess, which is, I don't know. But yeah, I kind of miss the US. So that's something you might experience during your time abroad if you stay long enough, is you might go from loving it to like begrudgingly accepting it. I mean, there's still parts of being here that are like better than back home in some ways, but definitely like the university here, I get that it's ranked higher on some college ranking board, but it does not feel better. I don't think I've learned more from their instructional structure because they only give you like one assignment per course, and then they give you feedback afterwards, which seems kind of useless because once you're done with the course, I mean, how much is that feedback worth without you being able to use it in any sort of application? You know, back home you get like 2 or 3 things of homework, probably like 3 in like an essay-based course, and you're going to get feedback from the first one, which allows you to make the second one better, which allows you to make the third one better, and it's just, you know, it's a carryover effect, and you don't get that here. Like, I feel like I'm going to do it once the first time, and if this professor has any quirks, I'm going to get a bad grade, or if I misunderstand the prompt, I'm going to get a bad grade, and in either case, I'm not going to really learn how to do it better because there's not really any reason to. And I think that that's definitely a poor way to do any teaching system. I think the same is true with the exam setting. It does not seem structured in a way that really promotes student success in the long term, in my opinion. So, I don't know. If you have, like, different perceptions, maybe a way that I could view this as a better experience academically, that would be neat, especially if you've maybe been to the UK before, but so far I have been disappointed. And to be fair, I've heard that from people who live here, that they've been kind of disappointed, especially with how slowly the university system sort of advances towards new technologies. So, I don't know. I don't think it's everybody in the UK or every UK institution. I just think that with this institution as an example, I do not feel like my quality of education has increased, and maybe that it's even gone down, because I don't think that this is a way that builds long-term retention of information and really promotes a student studying. If you do hear that weird noise, that is the water heater, and I cannot control it, so yeah, it just sort of does that sometimes. So I think next week I'll do another essay video. I know I've said that before, but I think next week, because I don't really have a lot going on, next week, after finishing my first exam, I'm sort of 3 weeks free for exams. I'm looking at structuring my mom a PC that would help her do whatever weird art stuff she's up to all the time, I guess. And she was talking about getting a laptop, and I was like, I just think you're going to get a lot better performance from a PC, and you're not going to deal with that issue with having your laptop be kind of useless after like 3 to 5 years, and you know, your PC will last a lot longer. And yeah, I'm thinking about building her like on the oh gosh, DDR4 platform, so she would have less of an upgrade path for her motherboard, but I still think that it would serve her better. I just think that the price to value for like DDR4 RAM and for CPUs and GPUs at that level for work applications is just unbeatable. So, yeah. I don't know. I hope anyone's still watching, but, you know, suppose it's up to you. So, bye.